Professional wrestling is the one true sport. Other sports have their share of intense, dramatic moments, but nothing can compare with professional wrestling. Welcome to Wrestling History X, where three friends come together to talk about the stories behind the matches. I'm Matt.
I'm an unshit pair of BVDs.
And I am Shut Shanes.
You guys remember BVDs?
Yeah.
They sponsored this show, and I was like, man, I haven't heard BVDs in forever. I don't know if they're still a company, but they were, underwear company. Tidy Whities.
The underwear company. I remember BVDs, this little Blue Valley Drive-In that we had in the small town I grew up. That was this like ice cream. You go there for frozen chocolate-covered bananas and all kinds of good stuff.
Maybe BVDs needs to come back like champion.
Oh yeah. Oh, I was talking to my friend Stacy from high school, telling her that because her family was the one that had owned it. Like, we need to do just a pop-up. Just a 1 day, 2 day, 1 week, whatever, just so everybody who knew what the hell BVD, Blue Valley Drive-In, was all about.
Well, I assume the food was quality and you didn't need a new pair of underwear afterwards.
I want to say it was. I was a little kid, so, the stuff I had was great, but it was mostly ice cream and, sundaes and candy. And
Can't go wrong with that.
Exactly. All the best stuff.
Welcome to episode 140, Battle 7.
Woo!
Just Battle 7.
Yeah.
It probably sounds cooler in Japanese.
Definitely.
Because normally you'd be Battle at the Dome 7. Because we're at the Tokyo Dome?
We are at the Tokyo. This is actually the 4th annual Tokyo Dome show produced by New Japan Pro Wrestling. It will take place on January 4th, 1995 from the Tokyo Dome in Tokyo, Japan, with an attendance of 52,500 people.
Nice.
It's the Dome, baby.
That's right.
It's a lot of fucking people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a lot of people.
I think, what's its cap, like 60-ish?
I think you can get up to 75. Because I think that first Super Show had like 70-something.
Damn. Yeah. Either way, 50. They definitely paid their rent on the building, no issue.
Yes. Yes. Definitely not like this year where they're running like 10,000 people in the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, it's like, that's all we're letting in.
But we're back in Tokyo.
We are.
So Shane, what deliciousness did you bring us this time?
Well, we lucked out today. As I've complained many times before, oftentimes when we have a Japanese or a show in Japan trying to find something Japanese food-wise on a Sunday in Oklahoma is difficult. Because for the longest time, places were closed down for COVID reasons or understaffed or whatever.
Closed at 5.
Yeah, closed at 5. We had the big freezes. We had, extreme heat. And then we just had some really shitty options of places that I found along the way occasionally as well. But today, we have...
But today...
Hashtag but first. Yeah, we have a Japanese twofer from a popular place here in Oklahoma City, Tamashi. They are known for their ramen. They are the place that I ate 6, almost 7 bowls of ramen to secure my spicy ramen eating contest. I should have brought my trophy with me.
Well,
I could have it on the table here with me.
What place did you get?
I won for my district. Overall, I believe I got 3rd or 4th.
Okay, but you got a trophy.
But, yeah.
That's too much ramen.
Yeah, that was a whole lot of ramen. But I decided I'd give them a try today because I haven't eaten from there since then. And it just so happened that, today as we're recording this, it's National Dumpling Day. So I went for some Japanese dumplings, got some gyoza. They're handmade at Tamashi. A little pork, some cabbage, rolled up inside of a nice little egg paper. Or whatever this is called, wonton paper.
I don't know what the dough they use is, but
something.
Yeah, gyoza is one of my favorite foods.
Comes with a delicious little dipping sauce. And then I decided we'll get something else too, because...
Why not?
Yeah, why not? We needed to add some flavor to the show that it's a long show. So
we needed our energy.
It's a very long show.
It's a very long show.
So I got what's known as the, I don't know if I'm saying it right, the chashudan. It's a savory braised pork, a sweet sauce blend, a little truffle mayo, and some green onions all over rice. Yeah, super freaking tasty.
It was very tasty.
Yeah.
I almost got those little...
It felt like almost like meat torn off of a short rib.
Yeah. Yeah, very tender. I almost got I don't remember what the hell they were called, those octopus ball thingies.
Oh, takoyaki or whatever?
Yeah, takoyakis.
Yeah.
So I figured from Tamashi they'd probably be good, as opposed to, I don't even remember the name of the place that I got them from the last time, where they were just this mushy ball of blah.
It can be really good. My issue with octopus and with the takoyaki is that, like, once I feel the octopus sucker in my mouth, it just kind of like, should I be chewing this?
You totally should. It's good.
Yeah, but octopus are gross. I know there's like smart or whatever, but ew.
I think octopus would definitely have to be a texture thing, probably.
Yeah.
You're either gonna like it or you're not.
I have a thing where it's like if it chews back, I kind of get in my head about it sometimes. But I'll try anything. Definitely give it a shot.
If you're ever in Oklahoma City, check out Tamashi. Awesome ramen, awesome other stuff, good drinks, and just a cool little. It's a cool little location.
Oh man, I just had an idea. Next time we go to Japan, I might order something that I've seen before that I've been curious about. Not super weird, but kind of weird.
What's that?
It's like the bottom jaw of a fish, but with, like, I guess some kind of, there's some meat on it or whatever, but it's like sold as an appetizer, and I've seen it on the menu every time I go to order from like a sushi place called Inaka or whatever. I'm like, that seems interesting, but for the boys, it's a little bit fun.
Jaw.
Yeah, exactly. Why not?
Interesting.
It's probably just like, tastes like tuna or whatever. It's probably not anything too weird.
I was hoping that there'd be a place in town that serves those. It's just those like light, fluffy Japanese style pancakes.
Oh yeah.
Because also today, not only is it National Dumpling Day, but it's also National Pancake Day, and I thought some Japanese pancakes would just be awesome. But
yeah,
I don't know of anywhere in town that doesn't.
I think it's like something super easy that, like, they just use like seltzer water or something, and it like makes them big. That could be completely wrong, but enough about pancakes.
You never have enough about pancakes.
Exactly.
Come on now. You look at it and bring me a Kitchen 324 pancake for the table, because.
Well, while we're still munching on these goodies in front of us.
Yep.
Something that would happen right around the same time as this show would see Nebraska defeat the University of Miami in the Orange Bowl to win their first national championship since 1971.
Yeah, baby.
Starting a run of 3 of them in 4 years, going 49-2.
Yeah, baby.
Over those 4 years.
Wow, that's
the good
crazy.
Old Tom Osborne era. It just hasn't quite been back since then.
No, it has not.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a lot.
He retired in 97, and I don't think they've won 10. I think they maybe only won 10 games once since then.
I mean, they've tried different strategies, and let's bring in this coach, let's bring in this guy. All right, I'm trying to remember. Bo Pelini was one of them.
Yeah.
Now they've got Scott Frost, who he was a Husker at the time when I lived up there.
He wasn't on this championship team, but he was on one of the championship teams in that run.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I remember him when I worked at Blockbuster. He'd come in, and he was just a cool dude. Everybody knew who Scott Frost was. Everybody knew who Tommy Frazier was. Brooke Beringer, R.I.P.
Is he dead?
Yeah, he died in a plane crash.
Oh, man.
Late 90s.
Yeah, R.I.P.
What are your thoughts on this football championship, Michael?
I know that they're the Corn Huskers,
There you go.
and I know that I've seen the flag in front of houses, especially in the late 90s, early 2000s in Oklahoma, and I've met families that were from Nebraska and Cornhusker fans, and after you told me that they went 49-2 in what, you said how many years?
4 years.
In 4 years? that's a lot for them to be excited about. That probably extends for quite a long time. So I understand why they felt that way.
I moved to Oklahoma.
Oh.
It's all Shane's fault.
It curse. Or it's not the coach that was so good that we were talking about.
That was the last year that they were in championship contention, and I want to say, didn't they split it with OU 1 year? I think that was the last year.
No.
Or something happened.
I think they
got like
went to the.
One got the Associated
OU
Press, the other one got the coaches' votes or something like that. I can't remember what it was exactly, but yeah, since then, since 2000.
Actually, their run coincided with University of Oklahoma being bad.
Yeah, that too.
Because it was like the part of the 6-year run that University of Oklahoma actually was not very good. That they all of a sudden Nebraska was like this juggernaut.
Yeah. While they were on their rebuild, Nebraska hit their stride, and then they kind of swapped spots.
Yep.
But enough about football.
Yes, please.
Let's head to Japan and talk some wrestling. So, usually, whenever we talk about people, I'll usually give the last time that we've seen most of these guys. Basically, standing, we saw most of them at Battlefield 94, which was the Tokyo Dome show in 1994, episode 109. That was the last time we saw most of these guys, unless I say otherwise, basically. So just...
Yeah, caveat.
Caveat, basically.
I just don't want to be out here repeating
literally
ourselves.
just don't want to have to say it 19 times.
Yeah, because
the last time
there's at least 19 guys on this show.
At episode, what was it, 94 or something?
109.
109.
Yeah.
Battlefield 94.
There we go.
By the way, I mean, if you're following along, which hopefully you are, it's our first show of 1995.
Woo! Senior year, baby. Or I guess for us, technically, it's like season 3 now.
Season 4.
Season 4. Holy shit! Senior year, yeah. Woo!
Well, maybe we're good at this now.
Growing up.
Oh, just think. Next year is going to be like Saved by the Bell college years.
Yeah, it was only yesterday we watched
Starcade 83.
Yeah, Starcade 83. And then,
Bunkhouse Stampede.
Bunkhouse. Can't ever forget Bunkhouse Stampede. Never forget Bunkhouse Stampede.
Never forget. Never watch, but never forget.
Yeah.
Never forget, never watch.
But you can find all of these matches on New Japan Pro World. Basically, they separate them out into individual matches, so there's nothing in between. It's literally just match after match after match.
Yeah, it's just kind of how World works. Is you search by match, not shows for older stuff. Newer stuff, it's the shows, but this older stuff, you can't just click on it and it's a 3-hour video like you're watching, SummerSlam '92 or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
There is no
It's kinda nice.
home video upload. It's just individual match.
Yeah. Can't imagine how long this show would be if we had to wait between the matches.
I don't want to imagine that.
Especially with commentary that we don't understand very well.
So we head straight to our first match. El Samurai versus Shinjiro Otani for the UWA World Welterweight Championship. Now, we haven't seen either of these competitors since Best of Super Juniors 94, which is episode 119. So we've seen them before.
Yeah.
Or since, in between. The UWA, the belt that we're talking about, is actually a Mexican promotion. But the belt had made its way over to Japan because people like to go to Mexico to work a few dates and whatnot, and they won the belt, brought it back to Japan, and
yeah, it's good for UWF as well for their belt to be shown on such a high-profile show.
Exactly. So the match gets going. It's back and forth to start with Otani working the legs until Samurai is kicking away and delivering a body slam for 2. El Samurai starts working the arm, only for Shinjiro to counter into a single leg crab, and other methods to work the leg some more. Samurai is put into a chin lock, which he escapes with a jawbreaker, hitting a pile driver and a back suplex. El Samurai continues with a neckbreaker and a modified surfboard, before delivering a brainbuster and applying a Boston Crab. Another backbreaker from Samurai, but then misses a dropkick, allowing Otani to hit one of his own to regain control, as he hits a body slam and a running senton for a 2 count. Back to the mat work from Shinjiro, only for El Samurai to counter into a weird submission momentarily, before hitting a superplex for a near fall. Samurai ducks a spinning heel kick and delivers a drop kick to send Otani out to the floor, which he follows out with a tope suicida.
Yeah, brutal drop kick. And, like, right into the steel. He was not once every match WWF suicide dive.
No.
He went for it. This is more similar to, like, what you see Darby Allin do, where it's like, this man doesn't care about himself, obviously.
Back into the ring, El Samurai with a backbreaker and heads up top for a diving headbutt for a 2 count. Continues the attack with a bridging German for a near fall and a tombstone pile driver for a 2 count.
Bringing out the big stuff. This is a match for a belt.
Shinjiro fires up with a spinning heel kick to send Samurai to the floor before flying out with a plancha, rolling El Samurai back into the ring to then deliver a springboard dropkick to the back of the head for a near fall. Otani places Samurai on the top rope and follows up to hit a Hurricanrana for a 2 count. But El Samurai counters into a pin attempt of his own for a near fall. Shinjiro sends Samurai to the ropes, who proceeds to slide under Otani, getting up to hit a reverse DDT, placing him on the top rope to hit a Hurricanrana of his own for the pin, and No! Shinjiro gets his hand on the ropes.
It's kind of nice when you don't exactly know somebody's finish, because you're like, oh, like, this. I felt like this could be the end. That's also something I'd like to see more of, is matches that don't end with somebody's finisher, just to keep everybody honest. I wish I saw it a little more often than I do.
Absolutely.
But it's nice watching some older stuff when they seem to do that more often, but also when you're not super familiar with the guys. It's like, I've seen these guys, but I couldn't tell you, like, oh, he did a head scissor off the second buckle. That means it's over.
Yeah, just because somebody decides to do a figure 4 doesn't mean that Ric Flair has to come down the next week and, gift them the finishing move for them to use every time. Just, use it every now and then.
We want different finishes.
El Samurai continues the punishment with multiple power bombs for a near fall. Goes for a vertical suplex, which Otani floats over, and the two men then trade waist locks until Shinjiro hits a bridging dragon suplex for the pin and the win.
And a surprising finish too, because like Shinjiro was working from underneath. It seemed the majority of the match.
Pulled out that win.
Yeah, you get that sneaky babyface win.
I don't know why. Something about him reminded me of Dean Malenko. It could just be dark hair, black trunks, wrestling Japanese style, but I don't know.
Yeah,
It was just, I was getting some Malenko vibes from him.
A little more.
It could have been the way he was going into some of the submission stuff too.
Yeah, a little more catch, a little less flash.
Yeah.
So we go to our second match. The Great Sasuke versus Norio Honaga for the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship.
I love Hagana's like Japanese guy with a perm. It's good.
So we haven't seen Sasuke since Super J Cup First Stage, episode 114, or Honaga since Super Show 1, episode 65.
Damn.
So he was way back there since we've seen him. The two men are back and forth with mat work to start until Norio starts working the arm using the ropes liberally, with Great Sasuke screaming in pain.
Yeah, just, crank that arm across the top rope. Why not?
Sasuke heads to the floor to regroup, only for Honaga to follow out to run Great Sasuke into the ring post, shoulder first.
Posted.
Back into the ring, Norio continues with a pile driver, more arm work, and a rubber band slam. Sasuke begins to fire up, only for Honaga to deliver a jumping neckbreaker, but Great Sasuke comes back with a spinning heel kick. The two revert back to back and forth mat work, when Norio picks up Sasuke and dropping him crotch first across the ropes, before going back to some arm work.
And there's of course a pop, but I love Hagana's. He's just healing it up, like not listening to the ref, using the ropes, not breaking. It's good
like,
stuff.
Fuck you. People haven't seen me in 60-something episodes.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do what I want.
I'm gonna leave a mark. Maybe rip this man's arm out.
Honaga goes for a vertical suplex, only for Great Sasuke to float over. So Norio hits a low blow and a clothesline. But then Sasaki catches Honaga with a handspring back elbow to send him to the floor, followed by a tope con hilo. Back into the ring, Great Sasaki hits a drop kick to send Norio out to the ramp, which Sasaki follows out to hit an Asai moonsault. They go back in with Great Sasaki hitting a bridging German for a 2 count. O'Connor roll with a bridge for a near fall. And Naga comes back with another jumping neckbreaker for a 2 count and heads up top, only for Sasaki to meet him there with a leaping kick and a superplex for a near fall. Great Sasaki then hits a tombstone piledriver, goes to the top for a rounding body press, only for Norio to get his knees up, before cradling Sasaki up for the pin and the win.
It's good shit. I love the... It's not shifty heel work. He's just like... He's there to win. He's a man on a mission. I mean, outside of, the low blows, but...
I don't really remember him all that well. I mean, Sasuke I do, but... Yeah, I don't remember much about Honaga from
It's only the second
show.
time we've seen him.
Yeah,
so
I mean, I don't remember him the first match. I couldn't say what it was.
Probably in like a 6-man or something.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah, but I really
6 or 8
really
man.
enjoyed him here. I think that he stood out to me. He made his mark.
We then go to our third match. Akitoshi Saito, Kuniaki Kobayashi, and the Great Kabuki versus JJ Jax of Akira Nogami and Takayuki Iizuka and Osamu Kido. So Nogami starts us off with a drop kick and tossing Kobayashi out to the ramp to give him a body slam before hitting another drop kick, which brings Saito over to brawl on the ramp to allow Kobayashi to regroup. Back in the ring, Saito continues the attack with stiff kicks, only for Nogami to catch one to get back on offense. Iizuka comes in with a snap suplex, body slam, and begins to work the leg of Saito. Back body drop by Iizuka before Kido comes in to stomp away on Saito and work the leg some more. Nogami back in for a chop fest with Saito, with him getting his head smashed into the corner, bringing in Kabuki, who delivers several shots, but Nogami is able to escape to bring in Kido. Kabuki and Kido with some back and forth action until Iizuka comes back in to work the arm. Kobayashi then helps Kabuki escape with an elbow to the back of the head before tossing Iizuka out to the ramp to hit a Northern Lights suplex. Back in the ring, Kobayashi locks on a Boston Crab, followed by Saito hitting a Uranagi for a 2 count. Iizuka fires up to get into a slap fight with Saito before JJ Jax hits a double team shoulder block, followed by a vertical suplex and a Boston Crab by Nogami.
You know what JJ Jax stands for?
I've been trying to figure out what the hell that is for the longest
No
time.
clue.
I think I looked it up, and I think it's like the Japanese Jolly Jax, and I'm like, this is not the right name. JJ Jax sounds like a character from fucking Mortal Kombat or something. I guess there's Jax in Mortal Kombat, but you know what I mean. Like, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like Japanese Jolly, but I don't know. We'll get back to the match, and we'll let you know at the end of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I always thought it sounded like a soap opera character because, I mean, you've got Jasper Jackson.
Oh, yeah.
General Hospital, so JJ, his daughter.
It's actually pronounced Jax.
Maybe one of them just stutters.
Mm-hmm.
Could be.
That's Iizuka's gimmick, but, we don't really see promos here, so we're not sure.
Body slam by Nogami, followed by Kido coming in with a top rope knee drop to continue the punishment. Kido then with a swinging neckbreaker for a 2 count, but Saito fires up with some kicks, only to be taken to the wrong corner, allowing Iizuka to go boot crazy on him, followed by a back suplex and a single leg crab, which Kobayashi comes in to break up. JJ Jax with a double back elbow. Nogami with a snap suplex for a near fall, but Saito lays out Nogami with a stiff kick, which brings in Kabuki, who delivers a clothesline for a 2 count. JJ Jax then hits with a double team clothesline on Kabuki. Iizuka charges into a big boot, allowing Kobayashi and Kabuki to team up, only for Iizuka to duck and come back off the ropes with a dropkick, which misses as both men move to avoid. They try for a double team back body drop, but it's telegraphed, allowing Iizuka to kick Kobayashi away before hitting a belly-to-belly suplex on Kabuki for a near fall. Kido comes in and starts putting the Wakakatami on Kabuki, followed by putting it on Kobayashi. But Saito breaks it up both times. Nogami comes in with a top rope dropkick on Kobayashi, but it knocks him back to his corner, allowing Saito to tag in and deliver a spinning heel kick. More stiff kicks from Saito, but Nogami catches him to hit a back suplex and a bridging German that is broken up by Kobayashi. Enziguri on Kabuki. JJ Jax teams up to hit a combo, kick to the gut, bulldog, followed by Nogami coming off the top with a splash for the pin. And no, Kobayashi breaks it up, and a Pier 6 breaks out.
I mean, what is a 6-man without the Pier 6?
Yeah,
it's gotta happen at some point.
Nogami goes for a suplex on Kabuki, but Kobayashi kicks him in the back to prevent it, followed by Kobayashi hitting a back suplex and Kabuki with a lariat for the pin and the win.
It does stand for Japanese Jolly Jacks. I was right. I don't know why they were called that. They are not happy-go-lucky in the ring.
No,
they are just
heels.
Yeah,
they're
definitely heels. Yeah. Maybe it's like a tongue-in-cheek thing where it's like, oh, you know.
Yeah.
I guess it has to be if they're like Japanese Jolly Jacks. They're like, yeah, look at my big smile while we bump into the ref.
It's like New Day. You know, nobody really knew what the hell that was supposed to be all about when they started, and they were heels.
They were heels.
That's what I'm saying. They were heels, but nobody knew what the hell New Day meant.
Because wasn't it Cody and Ted DiBiase
for New Day?
Yeah, there was a New Day before New Day.
Oh, really? They just tried it again later.
I know Cody was in it at least. I think it was Cody and Ted DiBiase before they moved into
Orton's little
before they started doing Legacy. That's what they called themselves.
Yeah, I don't even remember that. I just remember them being Cody and
I just listened
DiBiase.
to a Cody Rhodes music episode, so he had a. I was like, that's a fun piece of trivia.
Yeah, for sure. Not the first New Day. The not as successful New Day for sure.
Definitely.
No, I mean they were very, very much better as Legacy, but Ted DiBiase.
Let's head to our fourth match. Yuji Nagata.
I know that.
Versus Koji Kanemoto. So this is the first time we've seen Kanemoto. And it's also the first time Japanese crowds have seen Kanemoto not in the Tiger Mask gimmick.
That's who that is. I was like, I don't know. I've seen Koji Kanemoto. Yeah, he's the maskless tiger, Koji Kanemoto.
Poor guy.
I mean, he was probably tired of wearing those cute ears.
So a feeling out process with each delivering some strikes starts us off. Kanemoto hits a spinning heel kick to gain the advantage, followed by a body slam and a moonsault for a 2 count. Koji continues with some more kicks, only for Nagata to hit a T-bone suplex to take over on offense, working the arm of Kanemoto. Koji counters to grab the leg, only for Yuji to counter right back into an ankle lock, which Kanemoto escapes to hit more kicks.
I like that Yuji Nagata's like heelish here. Some bullying him with some slaps to the face and stuff. I don't know. I'm used to Dad
he's
Yuji.
He's definitely not the Blue Justice that we know.
Yeah, he's.
Nowadays.
I mean, granted, he's in much younger and more spry here, but he's not the man that I've seen in the last 3 or 4 years on a regular basis, typically in 6-man tag matches.
Yep, I don't know him from recent times, so I have no comparison.
Nagata with knee strikes and an enziguri before locking on a tight headlock.
Toy.
Before transitioning into an armbar and a leg lock when Koji tries to escape. More mat work from the two. Even at one point, they both have ankle locks on each other at the same time, yelling at each other to submit.
It's great. I love the
That's a pretty cool spot, I'll admit.
Yeah, I love the style that they're kind of working here is like shoot wrestle-ish, where it's like they're doing catch stuff, but it's not like as of a crispy like British style. It more resembles, like a traditional like college wrestling match with the way they're trying to get advantage and whatnot. Granted, it's not quite that, but I kind of appreciate the realism they're trying to bring to it. It's a different vibe.
They get back to their feet and Yuji goes kick crazy, hitting a German suplex only for Kanemoto to counter into an armbar, which Nagata escapes by making it to the ropes.
Yuji sells that armbar so well, like, and I love that it's like he breaks the German for the 1 count and just grabs his fucking arm. Just like, I know what I'm doing when I land.
Immediately after, he goes right back to the armbar, so forcing Yuji to make the ropes once more. Kanemoto looks to hit a dragon suplex, only for Nagata to reverse to take Koji down into an arm trap crossface, which is better known as a yes lock.
Yeah, for sure. And I love that too. It's like as soon as he puts him in the full Nelson, but it's just like a trick to get the arm again. It's totally my shit. And the crowd's loving it too.
Is that the technical term for it?
An arm trap crossface, yes. I'm sure.
It sounds like word salad. It's a Beck song. They caught me in the arm trap crossface at the gates of hell.
Because the yes lock, like,
you can hear it.
Because it depends on where you put the arm. Because like the yes lock, he traps the arm, but like while the crossface, the crippler crossface is slightly different, where they don't trap the arm. So it's just basically what they do with that arm.
It's
weird.
Yeah. It's a slight modification. That's how you get to 1,004 holds.
Boom.
That man's not on this show.
Should be.
Koji.
Trivia question.
Yeah.
Who is the man of 1,004 holds?
I've already mentioned it, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. That one's for you, listener. We're not answering. We know it.
Koji does make the ropes to break the hold. More kicks and a release German from Yuji for a 2 count. Locks on a crossface chicken wing, but Kanemoto makes the ropes again.
It's the year of the chicken wing.
Belly-to-belly suplex by Nagata, then locks on the crossface chicken wing again, before transitioning to a sleeper, forcing Koji to crawl to the ropes once more. Yuji starts to run the ropes, but Kanemoto catches him with a dropkick, starts delivering multiple kicks to the head before heading up top for a spinning heel kick. Vertical suplex before Koji heads up top again, coming off with a really bad-looking shooting star press for the pin and the win.
I mean, and there's it's happened a couple times, but some landing on the head on this show.
Yeah. It's not pretty at all.
Yeah.
More worried about the guy who won.
Yeah, Yuji Nagata walks like that for a reason now, because he's only got like one vertebrae in his neck that have been fused together. But like a diamond, not through surgery, just from being smashed over time.
So we head to our 5th match. Manabu Nakanishi versus Hiroyoshi Tenzan.
I know these guys too.
So this is actually Tenzan's return from excursion in Catch Wrestling Association in Germany.
Where Tenzan will go on to kind of be a, like, I believe...
Centerpiece.
Yeah, he's like a centerpiece, like late 90s, early 2000s stalwart of New Japan. He's basically our commentary dad. He rarely wrestles, and Manabu, I believe, just retired for good a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, like right before
COVID
basically hit full scale.
Mm-hmm. So these guys put in the work, and Tenzan was, at some points in the promotion when it wasn't at its highest or whatever, he was kind of the belt bearer. He's, I believe, won quite a few G1s.
Few. We will see Tenzan for quite some time from this point forward, basically. So Manabu tries some shoulder blocks to start, but they don't phase Hiroyoshi. He is then gorilla press slammed and clotheslined over the ropes to the floor. Back in the ring, Tenzan with right hands, headbutts, some chops, and more clotheslines until he charges into the corner, only for Nakanishi to catch him and hit a belly-to-belly suplex. Manabu with a few forearms, but then Hiroyoshi delivers a big boot and a spinning heel kick. Nakanishi fires up with right hands and chops of his own, only for Tenzan to take down Manabu with a big chop. Starts to wear him down with a chin lock, which he escapes with a jawbreaker. Nakanishi goes to a chin lock and a headlock when he starts spinning Hiroyoshi around him before stomping him down to the mat.
Is that our airplane spot?
That's one spot that I'm just like, I don't think I ever want to have done to me.
Yeah, just like I feel like I'm just gonna vomit. It's like the teacups at like Disney World or a state fair. It's like, I mean, I'm not really interested in being nauseous.
While being in a headlock, it's just like you're yanking on the neck while spinning me around.
Yeah, I was thinking that it was the airplane spin, which I believe there is an airplane spin on this show.
Body slam and a running elbow drop from Manabu for a 2 count. He applies the Scorpion Deathlock, only for Tenzan to power out of it easily. Hiroyoshi with a powerbomb that causes Nakanishi to go neck first into the mat. Follows with a senton before heading up top for a diving headbutt for a near fall. Tenzan continues the attack with a pile driver, some chokes, a snapmare, and heads up top again for a moonsault, only for a 2 count. Or he actually just gets up while the count's still being counted by the ref.
Yeah.
And then proceeds to complain.
I think that he was
about the count.
Yeah. I think he was just being like the overzealous, like big boy heel.
Yes.
But it is pretty funny. I thought he hasn't been like as goofy as that spot was so far. He's just been no selling and throwing him around. For some reason, I wanted to say he was the Unchained Gorilla, but that is not Tenzan. That is Makabe. Yes, Togi Makabe. I got my dads mixed up.
You did. Tenzan starts laying it in with Mongolian chops before hitting a mountain bomb, which is like a mix between a Death Valley driver and a back suplex. It was like he picks him up, but then it like goes off the side. It was weird.
It's kind of like a Death Valley driver, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a Death Valley driver, but like.
But
just
it doesn't
to
go
the
to the side. It goes backwards instead. So
yeah.
Like,
it's kind of neat. Also, not a fan typically of the Mongolian chop. These are probably the best Mongolian chops I've ever seen in a match. Just saying.
I mean, he's the master of them. Mm-hmm. Or at least he was.
He was. I've seen him do them later. I wasn't a fan. I liked him here.
But he does hit that mountain bomb for the pin and the win.
Good, solid stuff. Good, these singles matches have all been delivering solid Japanese pro wrestling.
I think the only thing that surprised me about this match was that it's Tenzan's first match back in New Japan. They're putting him in a big spot on the the Tokyo Dome show. But he's going up against Manabu Nakanishi, who was kind of like their big stud, just like literally it feels like just like a year and a half ago. Like bringing him over to WCW, putting him in the crowd, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're basically having Tenzan. It's kind of a glorified squash match a little bit.
Yeah, in that way where it's like, oh, well, he's just going to do your gimmick now because he's bigger and younger.
Yeah.
But the thing is Nakanishi's not old. Yeah.
No, there's still
don't put him out to pasture yet, guys. Come on. But I mean, doesn't mean he can't still go on a run. It just builds up Tenzan.
It just kind of surprised me a little bit.
Yeah.
In that way.
For sure, because when it was over, I was like, wait, who came back from excursion just now? The guy who comes back from excursion doesn't always go over like that.
No. So we head to our 6th match. Michiyoshi Ohara and Shiro Koshinaka versus Tiger Jeet Singh Sr. and Tiger Jeet Singh Jr.
Jeet.
Yeah. Yes.
So the last time we saw Koshinaka was at the G1 Climax 93, episode 97. Ohara at Super Show 2, episode 65. And Singh Sr. at Super Show 1, episode 55. And Singh Jr. might be best remembered as being Tiger Ali Singh in the WWF. He's not in the WWF very long,
no,
but he's probably best remembered for that.
Yeah, it's funny. I have it written down, but I haven't said them as it goes on. But the matches have names. Some of them do. Where it's like, like this one is dubbed like the Samurai Spirit, and I was like, oh, is that just some goofy shit they put on the internet? But then you can see on like the Tron in the while the match is happening, it's like shows the New Japan logo. It says like the Samurai Spirit on it. It's like, well, I guess they have swords here, but yeah, some of them make more sense than others. It's just kind of interesting. It's kind of like early ECW would be like have the title screens and stuff.
just like it being called Battle 7.
Yeah, but Samurai Spirit sounds way cooler than Battle 7. It's like giving every match, or most of your matches, a like tagline. It's like, why not? Anything helps when you've got 2 Tiger Jeet Singhs in the ring.
That's right.
Or around it. It's to say, mostly around it.
Yep.
So the Singhs haven't even made it to the ring when everyone starts brawling out into the crowd.
We've got swords. We've got umbrellas. We've got an umbrella and a sword.
Koshinika slamming Senior's head into the guardrail, only to be hit with his rapier in retaliation.
See, I swear I heard somebody sing in English, but with a Japanese accent, something about holy shit or son of a bitch or something like that. But I don't know for sure if that's what I was
It
hearing.
was probably Tiger Jeet Singh.
They're both Canadian, technically.
Yeah, so they're just like cursing in English, like at the crowd.
Senior uses an umbrella across the back of Koshinika, while Junior uses a guardrail across the back of Ohara. Senior then joins Junior in the beating of Ohara until Koshinika steals away the umbrella and drags Senior into the ring. Senior tosses Koshinika out of the ring, while Junior tosses Ohara into the ring, so Senior can go to work on him, ripping at his mouth and placing him in a nerve hold.
Not the nerve hole. Just pulling on somebody's mouth, so not nice. Plus, you're going to get bit, man.
Senior runs Ohara into guardrails around ringside, but then the Young Lions get in the way, allowing the match to finally settle into a real match. Sorta.
Yeah, I mean, this, I would say politely, is not for me.
Well, yeah, honestly, I had my head turned for a second, and you stopped after you said this, and I thought I heard you say this.
I mean, that was being, I held myself back a little bit.
Junior with a belly-to-belly suplex, stomping away on Ohara, delivering an enziguri, only for Ohara to no-sell and scream. So Junior hits a drop kick and places him in a tree of woe, where the Singhs bring the punishment. Junior grabs an armbar while Senior goes to mess with Koshinika, and the ref doesn't know what to do. Senior continues to mess with Koshinika, allowing Ohara to recover and attack from behind, putting them in control, as Koshinika hits multiple turnbuckle smashes of Senior. Double headbutts, Ohara with a leaping lariat, locks on a sleeper to wear down Senior, but he makes the ropes to break the hold and begins to fire up, sending Ohara into the turnbuckle. Junior takes over with a spinning heel kick and a powerbomb for the pin, only for Koshinika to break it up. Senior's back in, only to be taken to the corner, allowing Koshinika to come in and hit a hip attack. Ohara delivers a running boot, but Senior no-sells and low blows Ohara. Senior then just calls Junior into the ring to take over with a running clothesline in the corner, which I thought that was a funny spot too. Like, Senior's just like, I'm winded. Yeah, come in.
Yeah.
Come in and finish this.
Yeah. Go make me proud. Show me your lariat. We've been working on it.
Senior has a foreign object in his hand on the apron, with Junior trying to Irish whip Ohara into him, but he's reversed, sending Junior right into the corner. Pier 6 breaks out, as if it really didn't ever not be happening.
Yeah. It's just like, Pier 6, the match.
With Ohara and Senior in the ring, as Ohara uses the foreign object, while Koshinika uses the umbrella on the outside. Ohara with a body slam, multiple sliding elbow drops for a 2 count, before Irish whipping Senior into a hip attack from Koshinika. Junior has recovered and drags Koshinika out to the floor, while Ohara sends Senior to the ropes. He telegraphs the back body drop, so Senior kicks him and starts choking him down for the pin and the win.
This is like having a ECW match in front of 52,000 people instead of 1,000 people where you're like interacting with the crowd and you already have a crowd that's into that kind of thing. And this is just like,
Yeah.
it's like violence without the violence. I liked the hip attacks not played for comedy.
Yes.
Thought that those were nicely executed when they happened.
The I'm gonna rip your mouth apart thing looked like it could hurt.
Yeah, it looked like it hurt. I wouldn't want some fucking gross wrestler's hands in my mouth. I don't want fucking anybody's hands in my mouth, but definitely not Tiger Jeet Singh.
Definitely not.
Yeah. Tiger Jeet Singh or Abby. Or not Abby, Abby.
Like Abby.
Yeah, that's a sumo wrestler. Abby, as in Abdul the Butcher.
We head to our 7th match. Tony Palmore versus Sting in a semi-final match of the Final Countdown BVD tournament.
Whew.
Yeah.
So Palmore was a world champion kickboxer in the late 70s.
Oh.
He has, like, I was confused. Like, this guy's got, like...
He's got gloves on.
Gloves on, no shoes. But, like, he's got, like, lightweight, like, boxing gloves and, like, red karate pants.
I basically figured out, after this match and the next match we're going to go, they basically tried to throw together a MMA-style tournament.
This is that
mini
thing,
tournament.
That thing Inoki likes to try to get over all the time, and nobody ever really bites.
There's a reason, Inoki.
Yeah. It does make for moderately, bizarrely compelling thing, because, like, these guys don't look like they know what they should be doing.
No.
And it's the same with all of the matches, and you can tell when people are upset, especially when we get to Inoki and the big white guy.
So were they the inspiration for the Brawl for All, or?
I mean, MMA definitely is. Or
UFC has started at this point.
Okay.
UFC 1 has happened.
And, like, Pride was already a thing?
I don't know if Pride's...
I think Pride may predate UFC, but, like, MMA took off in Japan before it took off in the US.
Yes.
It makes sense, because
Minoru
early UFC was boring.
Yeah. UFC 1 is like a far cry from what UFC is today.
Yeah.
By all means.
I remember the first time I watched UFC, it was horrible, because I kept waiting for them to fight, and it was just like, Ken Shamrock is laying on top of this guy, not doing anything, just laying on top of him.
Yeah, I mean, rest in peace, Kimbo Slice. That was the era where I had friends that would order it, so we'll go over there and watch it. But I wasn't a big UFC guy. But it's like, oh, that's when it was like its hottest around that era. So I watched some matches, but Kimbo Slice was fun because he's a crazy man. Rest in peace. He had like 7 kids, named them all Kevin, no matter their gender.
I mean, George Foreman named all his boys George. So.
Yeah, fuck. I guess that's where he got it from. It's like, well, if George can do it, I can do it.
Yeah.
They're so messed up in the brain, they just have to name everyone the same so they never forget their names.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
Kevin.
I don't mean that as a mean thing.
I know. I mean, it's just like...
They are messed up in the brain because they've been hit so many times.
Yeah.
So the match gets going and Palmore throws some kicks and punches, never really connecting with any significance. Sting hip tosses Tony and grabs a chin lock, but Palmore gets a foot on the ropes to break the hold. Tony finally connects with a kick to the head, a spinning kick, and a scissor kick to take the Stinger down for a 7 count.
It's a lot of Sting standing and this guy doing like some jabs and kicks to the leg.
Palmore goes for a front kick, only for Sting to catch him and drive him down to the mat. Tony's back up and he hits another scissors kick and gets some punches to land to the body. But it's one too many kicks for the Stinger as he catches one and takes Palmore down to the mat and applying the Scorpion Deathlock for the submission and the win.
Weird. That was
fast.
weird. The scissor kicks, I'm like, man, I bet Sting is probably a little pissed from getting this guy's calf to the back of his head. Mm-hmm. It wasn't soft. It wasn't the hardest I'm sure this guy could do, but also this man's a little more nimble than he looks. He's got a bit of a belly on him. I've seen better days. Also probably could have used a haircut. I know I'd be getting a haircut if I was going to be in front of 52,000 people.
So we go to our 8th match. Gerard Gordeau versus Antonio Inoki in a semi-final match of the Final Countdown BVD tournament.
Final Countdown 3 BVD Combat Cup tournament.
Good lord.
At least that's what it said on New Japan.
Words.
That's a lot of words we didn't need. Matt cut out the unimportant ones for sure. 3. Did this really happen 2 other times?
So Gordeau is a 8-time Dutch karate champion, winning from 78 to 85. A world champion in Savate, which is basically French karate, in 1992. He was actually in the finals of UFC 1 in 1993. He lost to Royce Gracie in the final.
Oh, wow.
Damn.
This guy's legit. He also looks like the like white power guy from a 90s movie. Not saying that he is. I don't know the man's politics. I'd like to assume that he's not. Just I'd like to assume that everybody's not.
Seeing the word Sabat wrote out, I want it to be Sabate. since it's French karate.
Sabate.
It might actually be, and I just don't know how to say French words. So.
Yeah.
Well, I figured savat because like savat kick or whatever.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I don't know if that's spelled the same or not. Anywho.
So the last time we saw Inoki, Clash 28, our favorite match, episode 128
against
versus William Regal.
Which that match, moderately similar to some of the things we're going to see here in the BVD Combat 3 tournament for stuff and cup.
Yeah.
What he said.
The final countdown something.
Final countdown underwear.
Yeah.
Yes.
The final
countdown underwear, old timey ice cream place.
Underwear. So we get a cautious start between the two, with Gordeau hitting some kicks to the legs that trip up Antonio. Gerard then starts throwing some jabs when Inoki charges at him in the corner, only for Gordeau to move out of the way.
Inoki is kind of really doing nothing and just looking more angry with every second that moves forward. And we've got like Akira Hokuda, the famous Japanese female wrestler, on commentary. I showed her on the cam, so shout out to her.
Antonio's trying to pick up the pace, trying to pull Gerard in, taking him down to the mat for Gordeau to make the ropes. Inoki dives in for the leg, and then they roll around momentarily until Gerard makes the ropes again. Antonio, he's just getting tired of all this.
He does like a cheap elbow.
So he literally just, he like claps at Gordeau and then starts throwing hard lefts and rights. Goes for a spinning heel kick, but Inoki catches it and counters into a sleeper for the submission and the win.
I'm pretty sure Inoki was getting tired of getting punched in the chest over and over again because Inoki isn't very good at blocking punches. I'd say Sting wasn't very good at blocking kicks either.
I think they were like, I felt bad for Sting because I was like, Sting probably showed up and was like, hey, we're going to do this. Then you're going to, wrestle Inoki. Spoiler alert. And he's like, okay, cool. And then like they get in the ring, and basically they probably just told the two guys that weren't Inoki and Sting, like, throw some stuff. They'll block it.
Go 5 minutes and then Sting get on the Scorpion Deathlock.
Whenever they put you in a submission,
karate kick.
just tap out. That kind of thing. And Palmeire's just throwing kicks at Sting's head, just like left and right, like these huge, massive kicks.
And Sting has no idea what to do.
Sting's just like, what is going on? Like, let's get this done with.
And I felt bad for Gerard as well because he just seems pissed off about Inoki being pissed off, and I know that Gerard would have just murdered Antonio Inoki in real life.
And we're headed to our 9th match. Tatsutoshi Goto and Kingo Kimura versus Yoshiaki Yatsu and Riki Choshu. Last time we saw Choshu was in the G1 Climax 94, episode 126.
I remember Choshu.
Goto at Super Show 1, episode 55. Probably don't remember him.
Nope.
Episode what?
55. So this is actually our first time to see Yatsu, but he was actually in the previous year's G1 and has been a long-time tag partner of Choshu. We just didn't get to see him.
Choshu gets the big pop because he's Riki Choshu.
Exactly.
Goddamn Riki Choshu.
So Riki and Goto match up early on with both delivering kicks and knees. Yoshiaki with multiple running double axe handles to take over, hitting a back body drop and a backbreaker for a 2 count. Kingo goes for the arm of Yatsu when he comes in, only for Yoshiaki to body slam Kimura down. Choshu comes in, only for his opponents to work him over with double teams, and Tatsutoshi with headbutts, but Riki comes back with a vertical suplex. Yatsu with an enziguri and some slaps, only for Goto to no-sell and slap back. Kingo comes in with knees and starts biting the forehead of Yoshiaki before Tatsutoshi tosses Yatsu to the floor.
I like Goto's, tough guy vibes.
Back in the ring, they go to a test of strength, only for Goto to deliver several headbutts. Yoshiaki then fires up to deliver a back suplex on Kimura before hitting a spike pile driver with Choshu coming in off the top rope. Riki continues with stomps and a scorpion deathlock, with Yatsu coming off the top rope with an elbow drop across the back, followed by a power slam on Kingo for a near fall. Kimura comes off the ropes to hit a jumping leg lariat, followed by Tatsutoshi hitting a clothesline and a back suplex for a 2 count. King goes back in to hit another leg lariat for a near fall, and tells Goto to go down the ramp while he grabs hold of Yatsu. When Tatsutoshi comes charging back down with a lariat, only for Yoshiaki to avoid, forcing Kimura to take the blow.
I mean, you know, when some guy's holding him, and you're going to make that big long run?
Can't have that miscommunication.
Oh, man. It's like getting on, you know, having the manager hold the guy on the apron.
Yatsu clotheslines Goto, Choshu with a lariat and a scorpion deathlock on Kingo. But Tatsutoshi delivers multiple headbutts to break the hold. Kimura recovers to hit several kicks before Goto holds Ricky, allowing Kingo to hit another jumping leg lariat. Choshu fires up with a back suplex on Goto, makes the tag, which brings in Yoshiaki to deliver a power slam and multiple bulldogs to Kimura for the pin. And no! Tatsutoshi breaks it up. Goto with a body slam, followed by a combo clothesline leg lariat by him and Kingo. Yatsu is about to be hit with a spike piledriver when Ricky runs into the ring to break it up and hits a superplex on Goto, allowing Yoshiaki to deliver a power slam onto Kimura. Choshu is then tagged in officially and hits multiple lariats on Kingo for the pin and the win.
I don't really like Kengo's leg lariat knee thing.
It's different.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing looking. You don't really ever see the, like, connection. It's just a weird. Maybe it was the shots. I don't know. He does it a lot in this match, that's for sure.
Definitely.
The show is long.
It would have helped without the shoot matches.
Yeah.
We head to our 10th match. Junji Harada and Tatsumi Fujinami versus Sabu and Masahiro Chono.
I mean, you know, Chono and Sabu seems like a money team.
Yeah. The fuck are you doing there,
Yeah, you got
Sabu?
the Air Sabu and the Yakuza kick.
So we have seen Harada before. He was Super Strong Machine.
Oh.
But Chono had turned on him so he would unmask.
Ooh.
It's on. Mask off.
Pissed.
So they probably haven't had a singles match yet?
I don't think they have.
So this is kind of a teaser. And then you get Sabu and plays for Fujinami on here.
So we last saw Chono at the G1 Climax 94, episode 126. And I don't know if you guys noticed, but Chono's looking very heelish at this point, wearing like the black slicker Matrix-looking jacket. Mm-hmm. It's kind of what he wears NWO Japan.
Yeah.
So
This is when he gets into the more like Japanese gangster gimmick, starts wearing the sunglasses that he still wears to this day. Yeah. I think they're fused to his head at this point in his life.
That's the Chono that I was first introduced to.
Yeah.
He made an appearance in WCW and...
So yeah, his heel turn really is him turning on Super Strong Machine.
Super Strong Machine and the world.
We also haven't seen Fujinami since the G1 Climax 93, which was episode 97. Also, if you've listened to a few of our episodes in the last little bit, it's been almost 8 weeks to the day when Sabu broke his neck at November to Remember, episode 133.
When he stared at Chris Benoit in the eyes and then broke his own neck. I don't know that was Benoit's fault. It looked like Sabu just being Sabu.
But hey, Benoit took the rewards from that. The crippler was born.
So Sabu and Masahiro attack as soon as they are in the ring, breaking out into a brawl with Sabu grabbing a chair to hit Air Sabu on Junji. Sabu then takes the chair into the ring to try for another Air Sabu, this time on Tatsumi. But Fujinami moves, causing Chono to take the blow.
It's chaos.
Fujinami tosses Sabu to the floor while Harada hits a chair shot across the back of Masahiro, knocking him out to the floor. Tatsumi rolls Sabu back into the ring to be clotheslined by Jinjiri, followed by a body slam before Fujinami comes in with a top rope knee drop and locking on a sleeper. Sabu makes it to the ropes to tag in Chono, who goes right after Tatsumi, but he doesn't want any of Masahiro, so he tags Harada right back in. Junji and Chono back and forth, clotheslines, shoulder blocks, kicks, but no one is gaining an advantage until Harada hits a turnbuckle smash and a snapmare. Sabu flips over a back body drop attempt from Junji before hitting a spinning heel kick, which brings in Fujinami, only for him to be choked down.
I love him just like rolling off of his back as if it was like the hood of a car and then just landing the spin kick. It was a really, for a man who's not particularly smooth, it was pretty smooth Sabu.
Tatsumi with a shoulder block on Masahiro begins to work the legs and back with the help of Harada before Chono counters into an STF on Junji. Sabu with a body slam, slingshot senton leg drop for a 2 count. But Harada hits a clothesline and a DDT to retaliate. Fujinami attempts a vertical suplex, but Sabu blocks to take Tatsumi to his corner, only for Masahiro to throw Fujinami back to his corner because he wants Harada.
It's on, man. That's what people are here for. Sabu and Fujinami are just, the icing on the quality-made cake between this feud.
Chono with a body slam and heads up top for a shoulder block. Goes for another, but Junji meets him up top to bring Masahiro down with a superplex before hitting a clothesline and a charging into the corner, only for Chono to move, sending Harada into the turnbuckle. Masahiro with a Yakuza kick. Sabu in to hold Junji for Chono to deliver more of them, followed by another slingshot leg drop by Sabu.
Love all Sabu's stupid shit that everybody loves about Sabu are also my favorite things about Sabu, is what I'm really saying.
Fujinami runs in to try to break up another Yakuza kick, only to receive one himself, knocking him out to the floor, with Sabu following out after him. Sabu goes for a chair in the crowd, but they're connected, so he can't just grab one.
Yeah, he did. Nobody gave him the memo that, like, these chairs are interlocked at the Tokyo Dome or whatever, so he just, like, tries it a couple of times, like, fuck, like, where are the loose chairs? Yes. He finds one, don't worry.
To throw chairs in the ring.
Yeah, Sabu can find him a chair if he needs a chair. He can channel one out of thin air.
I mean, that's got to be part of his contract. They're bringing him over.
Yeah.
I need at least 3 chairs nearby.
Mm-hmm.
Masahiro tosses a table into the ring, while Sabu finally takes the timekeeper's chair, bringing it into the ring where he hits Junji over the head before setting the table up and placing Harada onto it, all while Chono and Tatsumi brawl on the outside. Sabu then sets a chair on the top rope, then places an open chair on top of that.
So he makes basically a table out of the corner by putting a chair on it, then puts a chair on top of that chair that's in, like, the position that you would sit a chair in. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, man? You just broke your neck.
He climbs on top of his construction to leap off with a leg drop onto Junji, only for him to move, so he dents the table, but doesn't break it.
This is so fucked, because, like, Junji is, like, slow to turn, because obviously the spot is, like, him moving and Sabu going through the table, but he's slow to turn, so he catches, like, Sabu's leg to the side of his head, and Sabu only, like, dents the table, and I'm just like, fuck, this is no good. Junji, you gotta be quicker than that. I guess Sabu moves through the air faster than some people. That's why he's Air Sabu.
Fujinami and Masahiro back in the ring, where Tatsumi hits a body slam before tossing Sabu to the floor and following out to brawl. Harada hits a clothesline and a power bomb on Chono before heading up top for a diving headbutt for a near fall. Junji starts running the ropes to hit lariats, but Sabu has a chair in hand on the outside, hitting Harada in the back, which then allows Masahiro to hit a Yakuza kick for the pin and the win.
It's a good finish considering the feud, which I was not aware of until you told me, and now I'm like, oh, well, all this makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, Chono on top with this guy getting hit in the back.
We had Kevin Kelly telling us some backstory for this one.
Yeah. It is what it is. There's got the internet.
So we head to our 11th match. Scott Norton versus Road Warrior Hawk.
Or Hawk Warrior, as it says on the internet.
Technically, he was Hawk Warrior back in Japan.
Yeah, but, you know.
We all know
who he is. It's just fun. Hawk Warrior. We will see Power Warrior later tonight.
With Road Warrior Animal in his corner. So the match gets going. It's back and forth until Scott delivers multiple back elbows, an avalanche splash, shoulder block, and a power slam. But instead of making a cover, he taunts Animal on the outside.
Yeah, Scott Norton's being a real shithead here. Also, it looks like he gained 80 pounds. Like, he was huge last time we saw him, but this dude is fucking yoked. He is gigantic.
I mean, he was teaming with old Hercules before, so maybe he...
Yeah.
We haven't seen Hercules since.
Maybe he ate him, because Scott Norton looks huge, but by huge, I don't mean fat. I mean, like, this man is, like...
Yoked?
Yeah. He looks like 1.5 Scott Steiners. Like, he's... Yeah, he's huge. 1.5, like, young Scott Steiners. Not Big Papa Pump. But, I mean, and this match is also called The Strongest, obviously. And my money's on Scott Norton, just based on size alone.
Norton hits a big boot and charges at Road Warrior, only to be back body dropped to the floor, where Hawk follows out to run Scott into a guardrail several times. Back into the ring, Road Warrior comes off the top with a clothesline, only for Norton to duck to avoid, sending Hawk back out to the floor, where Scott follows out to slam his head into the apron. Norton tries for a running power slam into the ring post, but Road Warrior slinks out the back, running Scott right into the steel, head first.
Posted.
They head back in where Hawk hits a vertical suplex, leaping fist drop before heading off down the rampway, charging back and leaping up over the ropes with a clothesline back into the ring.
I don't know if he quite caught it all, but it's pretty impressive.
At least his feet didn't catch the ropes and he fell flat on his face.
Yeah. I mean, this might have been, prime pill period for this man. So I'm just glad he's safe.
Road Warrior breaks out some chops and right hands before a leaping shoulder block for a 2 count. Continues with a body slam and heads up top, coming off with a crossbody, only to be caught by Norton and dropped with a backbreaker across the knee. Scott continues with a Samoan drop, taunts Animal by calling him a motherfucker.
I love it. I love Scott Norton just like talking shit to Animal. Yeah, I was like, it's Animal, right? It's Animal's out there. The shorter guy. Animal on the outside, he's just really going all in.
Norton then hits a power bomb on Hawk. Norton continues to taunt Animal before tossing the Road Warrior out to the ramp where he picks him up and places his feet on the ropes before dropping him with a DDT.
Oh, good old drape DDT, man.
Ooh, from Norton to Orton.
I don't know if it hurts more, but it looks cool.
Animal then makes his way onto the ramp, shoving Scott away so he can check on his fellow Road Warrior. But the ref gets in between them, forcing Animal back down to the floor. Norton then takes Hawk back into the ring and places him in a torture rack before just dropping him to taunt Animal some more.
Yeah, he just puts in the torture rack and just stares at Animal in the face. He's like, what you gonna do about it, buddy?
Several running clotheslines by Scott. Goes for a third, only for Animal to trip him up from the outside. Scott is pissed off and looks to go after Animal, but the ref stays in between them, allowing Hawk to climb the ropes, coming off with a flying lariat for the pin and the win.
Scott Norton's pissed.
He is not liking it.
He also kind of should be pissed. He didn't really cheat. He's just smacking.
No, the Road Warriors are the ones that cheated.
I know. It's kind of funny because seeing Hawk work from underneath is wild. Those guys are the king of no selling. Granted, it's also not 1987.
Actually, in singles matches, Road Warrior usually does the majority. Like, if you remember, there was that Road Warrior Hawk versus Ric Flair match.
Oh, yeah.
Where you're thinking Hawk's going to just, destroy Flair. But
Flair heel.
He actually sold for Flair.
Yeah. He's a tag team wrestler doing tag team wrestler stuff.
Yeah. But, I mean, also, Scott Norton's a younger man, and he stays in Japan.
Yeah. But speaking of the the crowd did not like that interference. They started to boo.
No, they did not like it at all.
And unfortunately, on the videos, literally as soon as the pin's done, the sound cuts out.
Yeah, because they don't want to pay for music rights.
So I really would like to have heard the reaction after the pin, Because I kind of wonder if this was designed to be a heel turn for the Road Warriors, or if they just wanted they actually wanted a pin and not like a double count out type.
Yeah. Because like Scott Norton, I don't know a whole lot about Scott Norton. I know that he's more famous in Japan, and he worked there a lot, but I don't know what his storylines or the fandom or what kind of accolades he accrued in his career. But I mean,
he makes it to the top at one point.
He kind of looks like he should. He looks like he could murder everybody by flexing. Just stare at him in the eye, call him motherfucker, and flex. I think it might hurt.
And then he comes to WCW. And you can probably guess.
It's not so hot.
Not so hot. I mean, he's part of a team of...
He was the B squad of NWO.
True.
Is that the Wolfpack?
No. Like, this is before they broke up, but like half the crew was in NWO.
Yeah. This
Isn't
like
Kevin Nash the Wolfpack?
Virgil
basically?
and...
Buff and...
Yeah.
Everything
Mr.
was
Perfect.
Everything was NWO at one point, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Except
for DDP and Sting.
Yeah.
And Sting eventually caved in.
And it became Wolfpack.
Yeah.
But that was Wolfpack.
Yeah, that's when he started doing the red makeup or whatever.
Yeah.
That's when the NWO fought each other, so... Yeah.
I imagine that's when DDP somehow rose to the top and became the biggest star for like half a second.
I mean, he was already there, but...
I mean, he's just been around for a long time, but he didn't become like a star in wrestling until like he was fucking like 40.
Yeah.
Until like till the late 90s, like right before.
I mean, we've literally seen like 4 DDP matches.
Yeah, like the end of the Monday Night Wars.
Like the next time we see him, he's like literally gonna be in main events, basically.
Yeah, DDP becomes the like main guy right before the Monday Night Wars end, basically. Yeah. And, he also gets to be in one of the greatest movies of all time, Ready to Rumble.
So 5-5.
Which we'll cover in episode 472.
I was hoping it was going to be 420. Because that would be
you guys just wait for our talk over of Ready to Rumble, starring David Arquette and some other guy.
They're not in Philly in that movie, are they?
I have no idea where they're at. I know that the movie starts with a shit joke.
Yep.
Because they're emptying like.
Probably ends with a shit joke too. Oh wait, David Arquette wins the title.
Doo-doo.
So we head to our 12th match: Sting versus Antonio Inoki in the finals of the Final Countdown BVD tournament. And we got English commentary with Kevin Kelly and Mark Warzecki. So I found out Warzecki was a comedy writer who now works for Second City. But he was in New Japan at least through some point in 2018.
See, I like that when people start at a wrestling show and then go to one of these other places instead of becoming an entertainment writer and then being hired by WWE because they like their one joke that they heard in something. Or because their name is Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah, supposedly there was some like famous comedians and stuff that wrote for WWE at points in time. Like I believe Patrice O'Neal of all people, rest in peace, did some WWF writing, and I think that there's a musician or two that is like that, but there's not much information. I just know that they did because I've looked to see what it was, but nobody wrote anything for this match.
No. So, like, Kevin and Mark sounds like he recorded his in auto-tune, by the way, but they literally do like a minute and a half intro to the match, basically telling you who the people are.
It's like, yeah, we don't know who Antonio Inoki and Sting are. And
then they're gone, and we get the Japanese comment. It was the weird, like, why even put this extra video on?
Yeah, they didn't really add much to it. That we didn't like. It wasn't one of those things where they had like all this information about the title or like a storyline, because this whole storyline played out in front of us, bizarrely and unfortunately.
Yes. So Sting and Inoki shake hands before the bell rings, and we get a feeling out process until Inoki tries for a kick that misses. Sting takes Antonio down and applies an STF-style hold, forcing Inoki to crawl his way to the ropes.
Nice and slow.
Stinger keeps up the attack with stomps to the back, locks on a single leg crab, only for Antonio to again make it to the ropes to break it.
Long and slow.
Vertical suplex for a 2 count by Sting, goes back to the modified STF, trying to add an armbar to it this time, but again, Inoki makes the ropes.
He does it with his chin this time. That was my comedy joke writing for wrestling.
The Stinger with chops, kicks to the leg, puts the Scorpion Deathlock on, and Antonio struggles to make the ropes.
The crowd's going wild.
Leaping elbow drop for 2. Sting locks on a figure 4, but Inoki pulls himself to the ropes.
Jesus Christ.
The Stinger with a running power slam for a near fall. Goes for a second, but Antonio counters into a sleeper, and the ref calls for the stoppage.
God, didn't even give Sting a chance to get to the ropes.
I know. We didn't give you all those chances.
Antonio Inoki is your final Countdown BVD champion, receiving multiple trophies.
Oh, and, he shakes Sting's hand or whatever.
Big fucking deal.
I mean,
BVD.
The whole thing is basically just for Sting and Inoki to be in the ring and for them to get the pop of Sting getting Inoki in some holds, which works really well on the crowd because it's Antonio Inoki and it's Sting, who is a name and should have been a bigger name at this point, but you can hear all about that on WCW like 89 to current, where Sting is recently teamed with none other than Hulk Hogan. So you can just guess how that probably goes.
So we head to our 13th match.
God, we're on. Man.
There's just so many matches. This thing is forever.
The Steiner brothers of Rick and Scott Steiner versus Hiroshi Hase and Keiji Muto for the IWGP Tag Team Championship.
I know, I'm like, and Hase and Muto are the current champions.
Correct.
And it's nice to see Scott and Rick.
Yeah,
It's been a while.
I've been asking about them.
The last time we saw them was at Royal Rumble 1994, episode 110.
Almost the whole freaking year.
While Muta was at the G1 Climax 94, episode 126.
Mm-hmm. And I believe that match we saw them in was probably the one that was Hase and Muto, and they had a suplex machine of a match.
Yes, these two teams did match up in the previous year's Tokyo Dome show.
And that was the one
And
where we saw that
made our shortlist.
Yeah, the craziest move we ever seen. So I saw this and I was like, let's go.
So the two teams shake hands before we get Hase and Scott starting us off with some mat wrestling with no one gaining an advantage. Rick looks excited, jumping on the ropes, and is tagged in to start barking and running around the ring before using his power to slam Hiroshi and Muta, while Scott press slams Hase as well to send them out to the floor to regroup. Hiroshi goes out into the crowd and gets a kiss on the cheek from a young lady, followed by Scott trying to do the same, but she refuses him.
What?
I mean, I'd probably kiss Hiroshi Hase over Scott Steiner too.
Yeah, but I mean, if it was between, I'll take a kiss from Rick. He's my favorite.
I mean,
I love him.
true.
I'm a dog-faced man.
Rick then drops down to the floor, grabbing a different and very scared young lady, and
She's
gives
a little
her a
nervous.
kiss on the cheek to give everybody a good laugh.
She's not into it, but the crowd is.
Back in the ring, Rick and KG match up to roll around on the mat for a few moments. Scott comes back in and they mat wrestle as well, with a few pin attempts shared between the two. Hiroshi tags in to start chopping Scott, hits a body slam and a running senton splash. The champions then start working Scott's leg with different submissions. Body slam and flash elbow from Muta. Hase with a top rope knee drop and a figure 4. Double team Indian deathlock before KG locks on the figure 4, which Rick breaks up. Scott fires up with a forearm and a backdrop suplex on Hiroshi, and Rick comes in to continue with a clothesline and a running power slam into the turnbuckle. Scott hits an Oklahoma roll before cranking on the neck of Hase in an STF, which he makes the ropes to break the hold, only for Rick to come in and reapply the move momentarily. Rick places Hiroshi on the top rope and hits a belly-to-belly superplex. He tries for a second one, only for Hase to counter into a tornado DDT.
And this is what we're looking for between these four guys.
Wrestling?
Mm-hmm. Some big boy moves back to back.
KG runs in to hit a dropkick, goes for a handspring back elbow, only to be caught by Rick. But a back elbow frees Muta, who leaps to the top rope and comes off with a crossbody. KG then hits a dropkick to send Rick to the ramp, following out for them to brawl, while Scott hits a tiger driver on Hase in the ring. Muta does the long run down the rampway clothesline.
Will it land?
But Rick ducks, and Scott is there to deliver a clothesline of his own.
I mean, that's fun.
But he didn't even run.
Rick throws.
You just got to put it out. He was already moving. He couldn't slow down.
Rick throws Muta into a guardrail before rolling him back into the ring, where Scott hits an overhead belly-to-belly and locks on a dragon sleeper, only for KG to get his foot on the rope to break it up. Rick's in with a belly-to-belly suplex and starts to wear down Muta with a chinlock. Scott then comes in to hit a suplex as well for a 2 count. KG's tossed out to the ramp again, and Scott delivers a snap suplex, followed by Rick hitting a clothesline to keep Muta from re-entering the ring right away. But once they do re-enter, Scott places KG on the top rope and hits an overhead belly-to-belly suplex for a near fall. The Steiners team up for a top rope powerbomb, but Hase breaks up the pin, so they start beating him down, with the brothers going for stereo moves, only for Muta to reverse to hit a Hurricanrana while Scott hits a Frankensteiner.
I mean, I love that spot where it's like, okay, we're going to do the team move, and you always want to run it back because you're like, wait, who took what? Like, it's just nice to see like one guy fail where the other guy succeeded, and then it's like, well, yeah, it's a great way to set up a finish, even if that's not going to happen right here. It's a good idea for it. Change the momentum.
Scott rolls up KG for 2, dragon suplex, and calls for the finish, lifting Muta up for the Steiner screwdriver. But KG reverses it into a tombstone piledriver. Hiroshi's tagged in and he delivers a Uranagi to Rick, and he starts to swing the dog-faced gremlin around and around before starting to chop and kick to no avail, only for Rick to come back with a clothesline. Hase tries for the Uranagi again, but Rick reverses this time into a DDT, making the cover, only for Muta to break it up. Rick picks Hiroshi up on his shoulders, while Scott goes to the top rope.
Are we going to recline?
But Hase counters into a victory roll for a near fall, while KG runs back into the Frankensteiner of Scott. Rick is back to his feet to hit a German suplex on Hiroshi. He tries for one on Muta, but he lands on his feet and hits a drop kick, allowing Hase to deliver a bridging Northern Light suplex, while KG keeps Scott at bay for the pin and the win.
I love that he hits like the German on Hase and it's fucking rough, but then Muta comes in with the drop kick. Hase scoops in. I mean, Northern Lights is similar to a German. It's like, oh yeah, like, you know, payback's a bitch, and then gets the pin. It's great, but it's not as gnarly as I expected, considering the previous match. Like, this is good, but that previous match that we've watched between these two, or four men, was Suplex City.
Yes.
This was a little more reasonable, but I wasn't. Reason was out the window when I saw all four names again. So, you know, my expectations were probably a little too high. By no means was it bad.
No, and it was a nice little follow-up to Sting Inoki.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever that was.
It was nice to see some wrestling between four men that know what they're doing.
Didn't have to escape to the ropes.
Yeah, they didn't have to fake fight. All they had to do was wrestle, which professional wrestling is fake, guys.
Normal sized chins.
Predetermined.
Predetermined. This was more predetermined. They talked about it beforehand.
So we head to our 14th match. Kensuke Sasaki versus Shinya Hashimoto for the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. So the last time we saw Sasaki, he was Power Warrior in the G1 Climax 1994.
Oh, he's still got... I mean, his hair might be even better now. He's got a great haircut, still similar type of gear. Just, drop the paint.
Shinya takes the mic before the match starts, and he starts yelling at the crowd.
I don't know what he's saying, because I think Shinya Hashimoto is...
You don't know Japanese?
I do not. I think that he was, heel-ish at times, but was, strong, mostly I think he was a face, basically, his whole career. So I was curious about that. But he is my guy, and I'm ready to see him just, keep the leg up. And by keep the leg up, I mean those wild kicks.
Yeah.
And bleed. He always bleeds. Every single match he bleeds.
So we get a feeling out process to begin between the two before they start to just slap each other, with Kensuke gaining the advantage, driving Hashimoto to the corner, only for Shinya to charge out with an enziguri, allowing him to take control of the match with his stiff kicks. The ref pulls Hashimoto out of the corner, allowing Sasaki to nail him with a lariat. Kensuke delivering stiff kicks of his own, followed by several clotheslines, and he starts to wear down Shinya with a chin lock before transitioning to an armbar. Hashimoto is finally tired of all of that and just starts waylaying Sasaki with forearms before working the arm of Kensuke, including hitting a single-arm DDT. Shinya with his stiff kicks, a top rope missile dropkick, and a DDT before heading up top again, but Sasaki meets him there, bringing him down with a power slam. Kensuke stays on the attack with a lariat for a 2 count. Sasaki keeps trying to work the arm some more, but Hashimoto immediately finds the ropes each time. So Kensuke has to use power moves instead, such as a DDT, a power bomb, and a power slam for near falls.
I mean, yeah, this is kind of a little closer, to what I was expecting from the last match. Maybe they're like, hey guys, we're gonna toss each other around quite a bit. So, maybe do some crowd work. Maybe kiss a stranger.
Or two.
Shinya's nose has gotten busted open at some point as Sasaki is able to lock on the Stranglehold Gamma, which is a step-over armbar with neck submission.
Okay, well, that's what that was called. Because I said armbar neck crank or something in my notes.
Hey, you're close.
Yeah, it's kind of what it looked like.
But Hashimoto is eventually able to roll out of it. Shinya fires up with a Saito suplex. He goes for another, only for Kensuke to reverse into a backdrop suplex before going back to the Stranglehold Gamma.
Is that like a finisher of his? Or is it like a... Okay. It's
his submission.
Is yeah, okay.
Sasaki
it feels that way.
Sasaki then hits an Apanze for the pin, and no, Hashimoto kicks out. Shinya starts to fire up again with a leg sweep, goes for a suplex, only for Kensuke to block momentarily.
That leg sweep was picture perfect Street Fighter leg sweep. It was great. I lost it.
So Hashimoto delivers knees to the gut before hitting a DDT for a 2 count.
Yeah, he just hits the knees, and he's still fighting it, so he just slams more knees into him until he can get the DDT. It's fucking classic New Japan shit.
Shinya continues with a spinning heel kick for a near fall, before delivering a vertical brainbuster for the pin and the win. So post-match, Antonio Inoki is out, and he presents Hashimoto with his belt before shaking the hands of both competitors.
I like how he puts the belt around him, and then there's another guy behind him to snap it together. He won't get behind him.
Shinya is also handed a trophy before shaking the hand of Sasaki, and then raises his arm to the applause of the crowd.
Oh, you got to. You guys went for it.
Hashimoto then takes the mic to talk to the crowd once again as we fade to black. So I ask you, gentlemen, what are your overall thoughts of Battle 7?
Oh my god, the show is so fucking long.
I got through it pretty well. I watched all but the last 2 matches in one sitting, and I saved the last 2 because it was very late, and I wanted to be fresh for them. So I broke it up a little bit. It starts strong and ends strong, I will say. The shoot stuff, in quotations, is not for me. The 6-man was good, but a 6-man when I don't really know a whole lot about the story or who's who or the significance is kind of just guys doing moves to each other very well. But to me, wrestling, I prefer it to be tag teams that are actual tag teams, not just 2 guys with each other, or a singles match. But I think that's mostly everybody. No one's like, oh, I prefer a 6-man tag match. So it's not a crazy thing to say. But I mean, Shinya Hashimoto is just my kind of guy. Big, beefy guy, leaves it all out there, power moves out the ass. He's got the attitude when he needs it. So I was happy to see him at the top of the card, and that match works for me super well, as well as the first 2. The Steiners, Hase Muda, good. That we reached highs maybe too early with their previous encounter.
I think this is the first time that I have not enjoyed a Japanese show that we've watched.
It's maybe the least solid. And
I came up with 4 reasons, and I don't know if it's one of them, if it's all of them, combo, but is it because there's too many matches?
Yep.
There's 14 of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's a dome show.
It's a long show. All of the matches go on probably a little bit longer than they probably should.
Yeah, most of them are like 15 minutes if they're not the fake shoot matches, which are like 5 or 7.
A lot of the matches actually feel very similar.
Yeah.
Like, even in a match like the Steiners, like, we have seen them before, and that match was great. This matchup didn't meet the quality of the last matchup because I felt like they rolled around on the mat way too long.
Way too much. Like,
before getting to the stuff that we want to see from those 4 guys.
And it was like a quarter of the amount of the stuff that we want to see from these guys.
This was the first Japan show that typically, because I'm inexperienced with the Japanese wrestling, I'm excited for the next match. I'm excited for the next match and the next one and the next one. And I got to match 3, and I really had to force myself to watch match 4, and then had to really force myself to watch match 5, and then I got to match 7. Like, I don't want to watch anymore because there's just something way different about this show.
I mean, I was.
But what about the first 2 matches?
No, it started off good.
The matches.
Like I said, 3 is what kind of soured me, and then 4, I think I was having some fuck ups with my Wi-Fi, anyways. But yeah, then it was just like I don't
think that's the thing. I don't think any of the I mean, we're gonna throw the BVD tournament out the window. Like,
that's doo doo.
Like, it was.
That's steaming doo doo.
Yes. Like, it was a train. Like, the only reason anyone would like that is if they just like watching train wrecks. Because that's what that was. The other matches, none of them are bad.
But none of them are...
But just nothing really... Like, there's literally... I think I mentioned, like, there's one moment in one of the matches that, like, I thought was a really cool moment. But other than that, like, there's nothing that stands out in any of these matches.
I think that the main event was very good.
I mean, I think if you wanted to watch some of this show, the last 2 matches are probably the 2 matches that you should probably watch.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean,
the first 2 are good first 2 matches of a show.
They're not bad.
Yeah. Good, not
But
great.
they're not quite... They don't have the energy that, like, the Super Junior tournament.
But they're not even what I want from those kind of matches either. Because those are our junior heavyweights. I want more of a high-flying style. And both those matches, they were mat wrestling.
They're more welterweight, like the first match. But I will say that of the first 2, as far as people that are not Shinya Hashimoto on this show, Hagana stood out to me because I liked his attitude and character work a lot. He was not the most exciting wrestler, but he was the heel. He wasn't supposed to be the most exciting. But I think the last match gets like the extra ump for me just because I really love watching Shinya Hashimoto. And I have not seen a lot of him, but he's quickly become somebody that sometimes you got guys. Everybody's got guys. Shinya Hashimoto, he feels like one of my guys. So every time he shows up, I get excited, and he has not disappointed me yet. Because it's like a, it's like a new puppy. It's like, oh, he's still shitting on the floor, but he's cute.
Good. Where's the smart marks at? All right, fuck you.
I think it's time we smart it up. So tell me some of those best moments of this show. You can find at least one, Shane.
I mean, like...
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, Hagana's heel work, it was interesting to see Sabu in this atmosphere. Maybe not a high point, but very interesting. I still love the last match. That goddamn spin kick. I jumped out of my fucking desk chair. I was like, yes. But it is overall pretty middling. And it probably could have been... They probably could have had some of those shoot matches early on just to get them out of the way so that when I got to the, lighter heavyweight matches, I got excited as opposed to them starting the show off. It didn't seem like it was... Probably could have moved some of these around to make it an easier pill to swallow. Also, Tiger Jeet Singh and Tiger Jeet Singh Jr. can fuck the hell off forever.
Those aren't best moments.
But I'm just saying that is an attraction match, and there was just like the Sting and Inoki thing where it's like, this is not what we want to see these guys do. Granted, that's all Tiger Jeet Singh does, but we want to see Inoki and Sting have a wrestling match for Christ's sake.
That would have been nice.
We would like to see, just like we wanted to see Inoki and Regal have a match. I remember enjoying Goto a little bit. He didn't become.
I complained about the Tenzan Nakanishi match because I was like, it's a kind of a glorified squash match, but it was cool to see Tenzan show up in his first match back, basically.
It is one of those matches that you remember the bad stuff more than you remember that match, and that match wasn't bad. It just wasn't transformative or anything. It wasn't particularly exciting, but it was a good wrestling match. But the bad stuff really kind of pulls things down here.
Sabu was fun in his match.
Yeah, he was very fun. It's just fun to see him there.
Just a kind of a weird addition to New Japan.
Yeah, see, he was going to be my most surprising because I wouldn't have
guessed
he was going to be there.
I don't think any of us were expecting him to be there.
Yeah,
so.
I liked the Scott Norton's energy as well. I would have maybe liked...
And you got to see the Steiners again after a year absence. At least absence on our TVs. But
yeah, there's some stuff that's like Choshu, Yatsu, Kengo Godo.
The ankle locks, where in the Nagata and Kanemoto, they both had the ankle locks on each other at the same exact time.
And they both sold
and they're both selling, but they're both yelling at each other.
Yeah.
That was the moment that I was thinking of.
That's a good moment. There is good moments on this show for sure. It just doesn't quite reach some of the highs where we're just glowing afterwards.
Yeah. How about most disappointing?
It's hard. It's not
the length of the show.
Yeah, it's not the worst. It's by no means a bad match, but Hase, Muto, and the Steiners, I was expecting them to one up themselves.
I was too,
and they did not. They didn't even really get close to what they had done before.
Yeah.
Granted, what they done before was stupid and dangerous.
That was a big ass match though that they had last time. So
yeah, and this one felt more like a match to lead up to something bigger or whatever. Maybe it felt like maybe it was gonna lead to a fuck finish and then you'll get a bigger match in them, But it just I don't know. It did. Yeah, maybe somebody was hurt and we didn't know, so they weren't throwing each other around like that. But the wrestlers are always hurt. So I'm not sure. But that was maybe the most, outside of the stuff that just had no chance to be good, that might have been the most disappointing because I had high hopes.
I mean, yeah, I mean, the most disappointing stuff is that final Countdown BVD tournament.
Yeah.
It's just so bizarre.
It is interestingly bizarre, but not
interesting enough to watch ever again.
No.
But it's interestingly bizarre.
I mean,
that is the best way to talk about those.
Like, there's no way that we like don't make jokes about it in the future outside of the show to each other because it's so weird.
Best performer of the night?
I'm just gonna give it to my boy, my thick boy with the strong leg, Shinya Hashimoto, because I love him dearly, and his nose bleeds like every time he gets in the ring, and it just adds a little more to the situation. And this wasn't like a top title match, but this was like a really good title match. It was. I didn't think Shinya Hashimoto was gonna lose, but I didn't know he wasn't gonna lose.
I'm gonna give it to Rick Steiner.
Oh.
Some of the comedy bits that he did.
Oh, it was some of the better comedy he's done.
Some of the best comedy that he's done in a really long time.
When he's jumping up and down on the rope, just like ready to get in, and we haven't really seen him super comedic in a while, and that was one of the things that I immediately loved about him, was because he's funny, but it's not like tongue-in-cheek funny. He's just kind of like a doofus. Like, he's a dog-faced gremlin. He's legitimately just a dog.
He's the most sincere, lovable guy.
Yeah.
There's no malice or stupidity in his comedy.
It's like legitimately like a pit bull that just wants to play with the other dogs.
Yeah.
And like is just excited to go play. And he did that very well.
And how about most surprising? I mean, we mentioned Sabu showing up. That's Tenzan showing up.
Yeah.
Seeing his first match back from excursion. So that was interesting to see.
That I did not enjoy this show as much as I.
That might actually be the most.
Yeah, that I did. Well, I didn't love it, and I expected to just love it.
Like, literally, I've always said, if you can watch Japanese wrestling, watch Japanese wrestling. Yeah. And I went into this show going, okay, I'm ready for this.
Well, I knew it was Battle 7, and then I was like, oh wait, it's January 4th. It's like, oh, we're in the Tokyo Dome. Like, okay. And so I had really high expectations.
It just didn't. It didn't quite hit the mark.
Well, like I told Michael when I got here, maybe all this time we're talking about Japanese shows and how the majority of the time those first few matches are all just little snippets that we get to see, and we're always saying, I want to see more, and now we get all of it, and it's way too much.
It's very true. It's very true.
Yeah, that is true. Sometimes there is kind of a formula to like the New Japan style where everything builds up. It legitimately builds up. It starts with people doing like mat wrestling and holds, and then we work our way into lariats and like shoulder blocks and sprinkled power moves, but it typically always tells a story and the finish is worked to. So, but there's some matches on here where that doesn't happen. Mm-hmm. And we could have had a little more of it.
And now for a look back even further into the history of wrestling.
The dusty finish.
Ric Flair was in his 5th reign as the NWA World Champion, having won the title over a year prior. He would beat the man with the hands of stone in Detroit, Michigan on September 25th, 1987. Ronnie Garvin, born 1945, in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, would make his professional debut in 1962. By the mid-60s, he had joined forces with his kayfabe brother, Terry Garvin, winning several tag championships in different regions. He would break off to be a singles wrestler in the early 80s, holding different titles throughout the South before joining Jim Crockett Promotions. For his accomplishments, Ronnie is a professional wrestling Hall of Famer. After winning the championship in September, the man with the hands of stone would be on a collision course for a rematch with a legend at Starrcade 1987. Next week, Royal Rumble 1995.
5-5, yeah. Wait, that's not ECW. But yeah, I mean, you know, we were just in Japan. We're gonna get to Vince McMahon's wrestling.
Damn right. We're going to Tampa.
Well, what? Florida?
Florida.
Yeah. This is it'll be interesting with, you know, the Orange Man fresher in WCW and Bret Hart being the guy over here, and they got some other big guys, and we've seen some good things, and who could possibly win this Royal Rumble?
You guys watching those mullets too?
Oh yeah.
They're getting classic.
Mm-hmm.
Music from this week's show is The Score by Emerson, Lake and Powell. And our man Shinya Hashimoto won the main event, so we play his song Prologue by Goldwing.
I'm gonna have to look that up because I don't know what it is, because New Japan doesn't pay for those tunes.
Yeah. Everything goes silent once the show ends, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know Hase's theme. It's one of my favorites.
If you like this episode or any of our other ones, please go out there, rate and review us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or wherever you find your podcasts at. You can email us at wrestlinghistoryx@gmail.com with any questions, comments, concerns.
Recipes!
What are we doing in Florida? What do they got? What food do they have in Florida?
Well, we've had some good food in Florida. I want some damn drink recipes from Florida. I want to know if anybody knows what the signature cocktail of Tampa is. Jump in our DMs and tell me.
Well, he said. And you can do that on Twitter at WrestlingHistoX. That's Wrestling HISTOX. We'll talk to you next week.
Laters.
Sound like Jax?
No, like Shane's.